Hello and welcome back to another figure review. Today what we're going to be looking at is the SH Figuarts Scouter Vegeta 2.0. This guy just dropped, or at least my pre-order was just fulfilled and finally shipped to my house. Obviously you get it earlier in Japan, but in the States it just dropped. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the packaging first before we get into the figure. So this is the newer SH Figuarts art design, or box style, with the large window display and this nice white print here. Here you have a shot of the character and a new Funimation sticker, which I haven't noticed on any of the new boxes. And I believe, as it stands, the Super Saiyan 3 figure just came out. But this guy is the newest that I own, so that's new to me. You have these little shots of the figure and various parts of it. I don't understand why they, who chooses these. I mean, here, if you don't look at the top here, you just have a shot of Vegeta's chest and a shot of his hands. I don't really understand. It's a weird choice. Back of the box, you can see him in some various poses with the different options of hands and accessories. Here you can see him next to the Nappa, which is coming out sometime soon. I believe it's supposed to come out sometime this month as well. Here's the bottom of the box with a nice little design there. Top of the box, window display goes all the way around up to the top, which I think is pretty nice. So there's the packaging for you. So here is the figure in his entirety. One thing that I just want to go ahead and point out before we continue in the review, he does not have any shading on him whatsoever like the original release, which really bothers me. The only area that has shading is right here under this panel. That doesn't look good. I'm not gonna... Anyway, I think your mind leads you to what that looks like. It's a very poor design choice. I wish they would have at least done some panel lining to the armor, which I'm going to end up doing at some point. In the event that I do, I'll do a small little update. Might do some shading up here on the chest and everything. So we're going to set him to the side for just a moment while we look at the accessories. So you actually have two heads on him. One head which is compatible with the Scouter, which is this one here, and you just pull that off and it has a little extra space back there. The Scouter just keys in right there in the back, sits on his head, looks great. And then they also include the normal head with no area behind the Scouter, which is really good. If you wanted to, I guess you could use this on one of the other figures just to, you know, add a black hair Vegeta to your collection. So you have the regular face, the smirking face, a yelling face with the sculpted vein. I believe this is the same as the Super Vegeta head. Not entirely sure, haven't really checked. And you also have a teeth gritted face. All of them look really good. Paint detail, 10 out of 10. Well, I mean, the way it's applied, not necessarily the lack of shading. It also comes with a crossed arm piece, which he actually comes with in the packaging. This one actually works better than all of the other crossed arm pieces that I've had experience with. Fits really well, no issues there, unlike the others. He comes with two tails. This one that is wrapped around his waist, connects at a tan ball peg in the butt there. And there's another ball peg which connects into the back of the tail. It's super flexible, so you don't ever have to worry about breaking it. Unless you're trying to break it, obviously. And then you have this tail here, which is obviously a not curled around tail, which has a blue ball peg, which matches the pants better. And you just unpeg this one, peg this one in. You have a ball peg, so you get decent enough range out of it. You also have two different Scouters. You have the one on his head that I have now, which is just this clear blue one, or excuse me, clear pink one. And then you have one, I don't know how well this is going to show up on the camera, but you have one with some readouts on it, which looks really good. Painted just wonderfully, I guess. So we'll move him back over there. We have the over 9000 Scouter Crush hand, which was molded in translucent pink plastic. I'm trying to get the camera to focus here. And then painted in white. Looks really good. No complaints there. You have two open palm Key Blast hands. Also look really good. Not sure if these are new sculpts or not. I'm just going to assume that they were the same ones as the Scouter Vegeta. The two fist hands that come on him in the package, as well as these two kind of grasping hands almost. I suppose you could use that for whatever you wish. So we're going to go ahead and run through the articulation really quick. Same SH Figuarts style neck as all the other figures. Not going to pop it off because it's such a hassle to get back on. It is worth noting though that the ball peg that, I'll just show you. The ball peg that his head, the Scouter fell off, we'll just move that over there. We'll put the other head on. His ball peg is much larger than the other ones, so you're not going to be able to essentially swap his head out with the older figures. In case you wanted to have, I don't know, I suppose the older Vegeta head on this newer body. You're not going to be able to do that due to the differences of the ball pegs, unless of course you messed with it, and now you can see how difficult it is due to the way that they do this articulation to actually get a head back onto the figure. And with figures that are meant to have exchangeable heads, this is not okay. They need to just do a double ball peg and it would work just fine. Anyway, that articulation works fine. You get good range, swivel all the way around, no issues there. Get a ball peg at the bottom of the neck, moves forward and moves back, not really very far at all, but it does lean from side to side really well, and obviously you can rotate it around for whatever you need. These shoulders have a hinge, which obviously is new. It kind of ruins the sculpt, so I'm not sure why you would want to do that. Yeah, I guess use it with discretion. You have a butterfly joint in here, which allows the arm to not really come across the chest at all. Oh wait, yeah, there we go. Comes across the chest just fine. Doesn't mess with the armor there. And then you have your hinge. It's also worth noting that it is a ball peg into a hinge here for the shoulder joint, similar to the older SH Figuarts. And that gives you about, I guess, 90 degrees lateral. Obviously, you can just twist that joint upwards, and you can get the arm up as high as you want, but it ruins the sculpt unless you're looking at it from an angle like this, which, I don't know. Do whatever you want with the shoulder pad, I guess. Obviously, you have a bicep swivel right here, which you just, in order to get the crossed arms on, you just pull this off at the shoulder and pop the crossed arms on. Simple enough. Double jointed elbow, works well, good range of motion. Same thing with the hinged ball peg for all of the SH Figuarts. Good range, everything full swivel. It is worth noting, once again, very, very tiny sliver of plastic to keep that ball peg on. They really need to figure something out with that. I'm not entirely sure what I would do if I were in their boots, but I personally am always cautious when I'm swapping these hands of breaking them. For the torso here, you have, unlike the original 2.0 Super Vegeta, this one actually has a hinge. At least it feels like a hinge, where you can kind of pop it up to give you some more range. With it down, you don't get that much range, no gapping in the back or anything like that. Obviously, when you go to rotate it, you're going to mess up the sculpt there. Let's see, side to side. Yeah, a little bit. You get gapping here on the sides, which I suppose was just to make way for the articulation in the shoulder here. But once you pull that up, you can get a little bit farther forward, a little bit farther back, but you get that gapping there. Where it makes the most difference is side to side, but obviously you get gapping, so you got to be wary of that when posing him. The tail doesn't get in the way of the articulation in any way, unless you have the other tail on. I don't know how you could impede articulation with that, but anyway, that aside, you have hinges for these little front and side flap things. It's worth noting that when you, the way that the hinges are done for these up here, the hinge is actually set at the waist of the armor, and so they just flip up fine, no issues there. The one here, the hinge is set lower. They extended a little tiny piece of plastic, so when you extend it, it doesn't move up naturally like these do. It obviously hangs down. This right here needs to be moved up to about there, if that makes sense. Again, don't really understand that choice, but whatever. You have the new SH Figuarts hips here with the hinge here, which allows movement out. Obviously, you don't get that much because of the armor there. Even moving it up, it's not that fantastic, but this version of Vegeta wasn't really in that dynamic of poses anyway. You get your, I guess, thigh swivel up there, and obviously when you move the leg out to the side here, which isn't very far, you can just move that skirt piece to wherever you need it to be. Double jointed knees. Also haven't checked if these are the 2.0 knees from Super Vegeta or not. I'm just assuming that it's the same sculpt. I don't know why they would change it. Really good range and looks fantastic in my opinion. Then you have the really, really strange ankle articulation. They should have just, I suppose, have just done a original double ball peg like they had on the older figures, but the way that they have it, they have the actual ball peg for the foot sat really far down, so you don't get the best range out of it. You can get it going pretty good forward, but backwards, you don't get much at all. An ankle rocker is all right. So it's a very strange design choice. I'm not sure why they went there. Here on the toe, you obviously have a toe hinge. So overall, this figure is absolutely wonderful. If I could change one thing, I suppose that would be the lack of paint on it. But, you know, they're mass producing these figures. They have a lot more demand than when they did back in, what was that, I guess, 2013 or whenever they released those older figures. Anyway, point is, I think it's a great figure. If you can pick it up, I recommend tracking it down. He just dropped, so get him while you can. I don't know if his price is going to go up or not. I haven't really looked into it too much. But anyway, I definitely recommend it 100%. He's not too expensive, so pick up while we can, add him to the collection, and stay tuned. More coming soon.